It's time for Maggie and the Moms, sponsored by Tampa General Hospital. Welcome to Maggie and the Moms, where we celebrate but never sugarcoat parenting. On our panel today, we welcome back Kiva Williams. She is a mother of 3 and the creator of the nonprofit group Mahogany Kids, designed to empower minority youth by hosting things like self-esteem workshops, music and dance classes, and community service projects. Karima Henry has 2 children, and she keeps them busy with fun crafts, which she shares with all of us on Crafting a Fun Life, which is a great resource for craft ideas that are easy to do and affordable. And Laura Byrne, also a mother of 2 and the editor of Tampa Bay Parenting Magazine. Here's the January issue celebrating Gasparilla season, which, mateys, has officially begun. Just found out I'm going to be on the WFLA float on January 29th.
Okay.
I'm scared to hit people in the face with the beads. I've never thrown
that does happen.
I'm sure there's a strategy.
Especially at the children's parade.
Yeah, the children.
You got to watch those kids.
Well, I'll be at the adult parade, so hopefully anyway. So welcome, ladies. We're going to start today with a recent column in the LA Times that we all read, where the author poses the question, is it really a big deal if our children refuse to pick up a book? What's the obsession with reading 20 minutes a day? She says kids these days are different. And by the way, she cites educators, people who work with children. And she concludes that kids these days do a lot of what she calls incidental reading. Here's a quote. She says, playing with video games is reading. Watching a movie like Hamilton with closed caption is reading. Using a recipe to make cookies is reading. So chill out, moms. You know, there are plenty of successful people who are not readers. What say you, Kiva?
And then she quoted Kanye West, whose mom is an educator, a professor. And so, you know, he calls himself a genius. So, I mean, he makes a couple valid points, but as a child of an educator, my mom's a teacher, I do believe that reading is fundamental and that kids should do it. But I'm not tied to the 20 minutes, but I do feel like fostering a love of reading should be required.
Karima, do you do that with your 2 boys? I mean, they're right at that age where the developing brain is absorbing everything.
It is. My oldest actually loves to read, so there's not like me forcing him to read for the 20 minutes. He knows when he gets home, if he wants to play the game or watch a certain show, he needs to read, you know, a few books. But it's not necessarily like, hey, you got to read for 20 minutes or you're going to get in trouble kind of thing. It's like his teacher even suggested the closed caption if he's watching a show to have that on, because that's also a form of reading.
Okay.
So yeah, that's pretty cool.
I think you know what you just said too, like fostering that love of reading. You want to force something to make them be like, oh no, I don't want to do it. I don't stick with the timeline, but we find books that my kids love to read. My oldest loves Diary of a Wimpy Kid, so he gets super excited to read those books. So you know, some days they'll read more than others, but I think altogether just encouraging that love of reading is the most important thing, and not forcing it so they don't like it.
See, I think this article is the biggest bunch of malarkey I ever saw, to quote Joe Biden, in my entire life. How could you tell me that playing video games or reading closed caption, it is reading, but is it equivalent to the benefits that you get from reading a book? You expand your vocabulary, you expand your horizons. I mean, a million benefits that are well documented. And I think that sometimes if you have a kid who's a voracious reader like my son, you have to force them, because he's only a voracious reader if he picks up the book, which he won't do unless he'll be playing video games or watching TV unless mom says, Mikey, go read, and then he'll like dive in and love it. But I do have to force him, and I think it's my job to force him if he's not doing it himself. On the other hand, if you have a kid like my daughter who feels bad because she doesn't read enough because she can't find the books that interest her, you know, I don't want her to feel bad or like she's not going to be a success if she doesn't read 20 minutes a day, but I will encourage her, and she doesn't need the encouragement, she does it herself, to continue searching for books that interest her and topics that interest her, because reading matters.
Yes, you know what else too? I tell my kids, you can stay up as late as you want as long as you're in bed and reading. So I get them a little book light that they can put up, and it's a, you know, it's a rechargeable one, so you don't have to use batteries, and it's and they usually don't stay up very late, because you know you do get tired after a certain amount of time.
I like that. All right, let's move to topic number 2. This was a BuzzFeed question that elicited a lot of responses. People were asked to send it with what they consider toxic parenting trends, and some of the things they mentioned were things like spanking or hitting to discipline a kid, assigning a golden child among your children, telling your children not to cry or not to be shy. In other words, fight your inclinations, telling your kids that they're exhausting, you're the reason I'm tired all the time, taking your frustrations out on your children. Those are just a couple of them. Do you agree those are toxic toxic? Do you have any other that you're thinking, yeah, maybe I shouldn't do, Laura?
I think so. There's another one. I think that was in that article about comparing kids too, because they are so different. And I know growing up, I was always compared to my siblings, and we're all different. And I try not to do that with my kids, but I think that was one. But it's a reminder that sometimes we just have to check ourselves as parents on, it's easy to get frustrated. And take that out sometimes on our children and tell them they're tired, they're exhausting.
Are you toxic sometimes, Karima?
I have my moments. Because some of these, I mean, the kids, they can push your buttons, and there's times where they're just on it all, especially if you're at home with them all the time.
Yes.
And it's just like, please give me a break. Mommy just needs a minute. Just sit down. But I saw there's one that talks about privacy.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that. Like, your
Yeah,
kids,
it said that you have to give kids
the privacy.
Right.
I'm sorry.
In my house?
If there's something that happens, God forbid, they're looking at the parents and blaming the parents if something go wrong. Why didn't you know? How didn't you know
Why
this?
did you do your phone?
Like,
That's a great point.
There's no privacy. No, I'm sorry.
Up
We
until
can-
a certain age,
yes.
no privacy.
Yeah.
But I need to know what's going on, and we need to have that communication. And I don't want you withholding anything because, like I said, if something happened, we're the one that's responsible and held
That's true.
accountable.
I like that, and I
That's very
agree.
true.
Kiva?
And I don't think the word toxic should be used because I feel like as a parent, you have to make some tough choices. Certain things are going to be looked at as, you know, your kid, from your kid's point of view. Oh, my mom's like being so harsh on me. No, I'm trying to make sure that you are being raised correctly so that you don't go out into society and do things wrong. So maybe not call it toxic, but I mean, certain things, you know, maybe it was a reminder to gut check myself. You know, don't compare my kids. You know, don't get upset when they are, you know, doing things that are tapping on your last nerve. Take a moment to breathe.
See, I think you are allowed to get upset as long as, I think that none of those are toxic. Well, with the exception of spanking or hitting, which I don't think there's ever an excuse for. But the other ones, if they happen once in a while, guess what? It's a signal that you're human.
Okay,
If they
that's true. We all
happen
make mistakes.
constantly, then you're sending your kid, I think, the wrong message.
Right. Yeah.
But just, you know, make sure, and I have someone who points it out to me. My children will sometimes say to me, hey, Mom, are you in a bad mood? You know, I'll be like, oh yeah,
Like,
Sorry.
Mama needs a minute.
I'll be right back.
You know, tell your kids it's okay. Respectfully tell me, Mom, you're doing that thing again that you said you were going to
Right.
do.
Oh my God.
All right, ladies, it's time to spin the wheel and see where we land today in the Wheel of Mom Topics. And our first one is fill in the blank. Since it's a new year, I'll give you this sentence and you complete it. So let's start with you, Laura. This year, I resolved to blank. So give me a parenting resolution.
Go for it. And this is just in general, and when I say go for it, you know, all of us here, we're all creatives, right? We all have a bunch of ideas. So at this point, instead of like questioning myself or doubting myself or thinking, maybe people aren't gonna like, I'm just gonna try to do it, just do it. Because I wanna be a good role model for my kids. So when I try to tell them, hey, you should just go for it. Well, you know, if I'm not doing it, how can I expect them to do that too? So I'm going to try to do more, the fun things this year, things that I love and passionate about.
Not shockingly, you and I, again, have the same answer.
I'm like,
I was going to say just to lead by example.
Yeah.
Because
Like that.
so many times I tell my kids not to do things that I do all the time. Like, why are you being so hard on yourself? Oh, yeah, wait. How could you not clean up your room? And there's the pile of laundry.
Don't even look my way.
So many examples I could give you. So we're on the same page there. What about you, Karima?
my thing is not to feel like I have to do everything. Because as a mom, you feel like, especially I do so much already, and I try to be, you know, that extra mom so that they can have a good time, have fun, that I think sometimes I get carried away. And then I'm like overwhelmed with doing too much. So I feel like I'm going to take it easy and not, you know, go overboard.
It'll be better for you and your kids.
Yes.
Because you're going to be more
And
chill.
my husband, so I'm not
your
driving
husband.
him
Yeah,
crazy.
they matter too. They matter too. Kiva.
Mine's a little bit similar to Karima. I'm going to start saying no more without having to explain myself and give somebody like a 5-page apology of why, you know, I'm sorry, I'm not available. So just be okay with saying no. No is a sentence, right?
Love it.
No
is a sentence, period. All right, we have about a minute, but we're going to try to get one more in our Wheel of Topics. The messy truth. All right, life is messy, parenting is messy. What's one messy truth about parenting that doesn't get told enough?
It's okay to say no to those birthday party class invites. Sometimes I feel obligated to go to them. And I'm just like, you know what? No. Again with need to know. Like, you don't have to invite the entire class. I don't even know you.
In some schools, you are required to
yeah.
invite the entire,
It's
but you don't have to
exhausting.
go.
It's
Yeah.
exhausting.
Amen. Tell me.
Going with me?
Yeah.
Sometimes kids do get on your nerves.
Yeah, I know.
They do. I love my kids. I do. But sometimes they're just talking. I'm just like, I'm thinking about everything else except what they're saying. And I'm sorry. I feel bad about that, but it
You
happens.
should not feel bad because I can't name one single mom who doesn't agree.
You know, and your kid's not always going to eat what you want them to eat when you want them to be more healthy. It was a new year. I was doing the meal planning thing, and I'm still struggling.
Yeah.
So, but you know, you just get your trade-offs. He's going to eat something else, or he's
Yeah.
taking his multivitamins. So there you go.
Yeah, and mine is there's no such thing as a perfect kid or a perfect life, so let's stop pretending.
Yeah.
Especially on
100%.
social media. Like my husband said to me the other day, if you're gonna post that video of Mikey making a 3-pointer, post the 5 that he didn't make.
Yeah.
Because
True.
that's real, and that's
Yeah.
okay, that's life. Sometimes you have
Yep.
to shoot 6 times to make a great
Exactly.
shot.
Uh-huh.
All right, thank you so much, ladies, for being here. And as we kick off the new year, we would like to get you more involved in Maggie and the Mom. So please send us your topic ideas, even shoot a quick video, you know, vent, and anything you want. Just, we want to hear from you. We want you to be the 6th panelists, right? There are 4 of us, 5th panelist. Sorry, I can't count. Never good at math. You can send it to our email address, which is daytime@wfla.com. We'll be right back.